What's going on, y'all? This is Tommy P, and this is Fashion Gems. I'm here with the creative director of DeVibes. He just gave an awesome presentation for the kids, but now we're about to tap in with you guys. Appreciate you for pulling
Thank
up,
you, bro. Appreciate your time, man. Thank you
For
for
sure.
giving me the opportunity.
Now, you and I go back to childhood and things. I
Mhm.
know when I started doing my clothing line, I went out to your school. You were kind of the BSU man and handling all of the business related things with that. I know that you initially started off in business, but then transferred, or not transferred, but kind of segued into the graphic design realm. Can you talk about what led you to
That's
that
kind of why I
decision?
started to get my niche and see what I really like to do. At that time, it was probably like a world full of things going on in my life, and I just felt like that was something that I could just tap in closely to. So, working with the Black Student Alliance, that was the club that I was in. I was the vice president at the time. So, being that I had that full control and had that creative space, and was in charge of scouting talent, I had to creative process of designing the print for us, flyers. I also had the services of booking clients and booking guests and stuff. So just with that experience and then my experience outside of school, working at NBC, working with Jerry Springer, Wilkos, Maury, having that opportunity to be in post production, all of this stuff led up to me just wanting to still be creative.
Yeah.
I had my facets in going into education where I taught. I went through the nonprofit, going through City Year, so I had the opportunity to do that. And just having those different functions, I ran into an art teacher who actually inspired me. I was bringing my fourth grade class in for art, and she gave me a sketchbook and she told me fill it up because she kind of just seen something in me. People have that once where they just have that moment. They're like, oh, I see something in you.
Right.
So she saw something in me, and I forgot the teacher's name. But from that moment, that's what started it. And that was probably 2016, spring. And I taught 2016, 2017, fourth grade math. So just through that experience, working with those students and then broadening my horizons and just understanding that, we don't lose that kid in us.
Right.
And it's always a space to be creative. So that's kind of what started it. And I just started sketching out stuff and just went through that moment. I started buying sketch material again, bought a heat press machine, bought a Cricut. And I just started understanding that, I need to start creating a business plan and a model. So I created a business plan, actually putting my foot down and actually doing it and saying it. I created my brand.
Yeah.
And from there, DeVibes was created in 2017 in the summer. And then on paper, I got it LLC in 2019, August 15th. So August 15th this year makes
3 years, 4 years.
4 years. Yeah, my goal is to actually work with a in-house studio, work with a brand. So that's my niche right now. I'm trying to stay within that realm and see if I could closely work with any startup brand. So I work with different clients like on the freelance side, but that's my ultimate goal is to get into that industry that way.
Fire. All right, you just said a lot.
Yeah.
You kind of answered more questions that I was going to ask. The age of things like Shein and Fashion Nova, these kind of brands, these kind of companies that outsource and bring in similar styles to people at a low rate, a low price. How do you feel someone that spends a lot of time and creativity like you can develop a portfolio that can surpass or get noticed from the countless other kind of like low end, high end style apparel?
That's a great question, and that's something that I think about every day as far as just the research and the trends that's in right now, especially in our industry. So for me right now, I just stay close to the trends. Right now, I'm doing a lot of custom type design, so that's more about like topography, putting more topography with images and actually correlating them together. So, like for example, I have a project that I was working on right now called Fair. So I'm using images that's showing fair, but I'm using different topography and using different elements within that poster design to show that uh, that expression or that feeling of fear. And then as far as to answer your other question, reaching out to those type of brands and like Shein, Fashion Nova, Zoomies. There's other like small brands that sell streetwear apparel. that really goes through just the design process and just actually putting foot to ground. And not more about just emailing, having a good cover letter structure, and then just having that portfolio built for that. So for me right now, my whole portfolio is based on like just self projects that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm looking to collab right now with other designers because there's people that's coming up that I actually know and I wear their brands, whether it's starter up brands, and just you introducing your brand to me is kind of what actually influenced me a lot. And I still have that sweater to this day.
That's fine.
Shout out to I Wear Clothing, by the way. I have a quote that I seen on a commercial. One of the ex-football players, Paul Lamahuli, plays football. Anyway, he has a commercial that says "Never stop working," and in the commercial, he's doing every different thing, like, and it's showing just his transition after football.
Right.
He's never stopped working. Like, they got a part, he's gardening, mowing the lawn. So like that aspect for me is just always important.
Right. You gotta, like Jim Jones said, you gotta stay consistent.
And stay consistent, bro.
Right.
Stay consistent. Stay 10 toes down, and just having these opportunities to meet with you and actually giving an opportunity to speak with the youth and actually broaden their horizons. That is very important to me, and I'm always blessed to give that opportunity because we sat in those seats before.
Yeah.
So it's a give back. It's grateful to just be there and stand there and actually know that I might change somebody's life in this room or inspire them to do something.
The art teachers did with you. You feel
right.
Me? Now you say you went into Zoomies, and once you showed them your portfolio of work, they kind of was already interested.
Mm-hmm.
I know you labeled your style as bootleg. What was it?
Well, I'm still working on my type of style. I would just say, like, overall, as a graphic designer, like, you can have different type of styles, but like my focus and concepts, I like the 90s vintage type of streetwear type of brand. I'm into like the minimalistic type of brand. I'm into the brutalism type of brand where it's showing that edgy, it's giving expression.
Yeah. You into like the grungy feel, like
grungy,
that distress feel.
Yeah, the distress feel. I'm into like that sci-fi elements. I'm into all of that type of stuff because these are the things that I've seen on TV and that I gravitated to. I definitely all the way into 90s cartoons.
Yeah.
So you're always going to see my portfolio filled with stuff with 90s stuff relative towards that. I try to relate my work and my genres and all my concept towards movies and towards just our experience just growing up in Harlem.
Right.
Like I said, I just like to call my style unique because I can do different facets of things, and I don't like to just pinpoint and say, oh, I only just do this. Because I know that within this industry, like we shared the other day, there's other things that you can touch on that you actually can correlate together.
Yeah.
With graphic designing, it's logo design, it's web design. Like, there's so much stuff that I know that I'm, expertise in, but it's always changing.
Right.
It's
You always
always
gotta update.
concepts. Yeah. Always stuff you gotta update to. So, like right now, I just looked up the other day, just the trends that's in, and like I've just seen like like the psychedelic stuff, airbrush, the surrealism, the brutalism. That's all the stuff that's trending right now. So if you're gearing to make products like that, like people are using now the more like mosaic stuff, like showing like temples and glass mosaic stuff, showing that godly type of like figure, representing like Jesus on a lot of things. So like I just seen a brand, the guy got the whole temple mosaic on the jacket, the jean jacket.
Right. That remind me of when Ferg was doing his
stuff. He was doing the belts and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like just to stay in that essence. And Harlem has so much, bro. Like just far as like the culture and just the ethics, like you could tap into so many. Like I can go into like a whole Renaissance concept and just give people a bunch of Renaissance stuff where I'm taking poems from famous artists or poets and turning those into artwork. Like that's stuff that turns into concepts that turns into brands. So just keeping my foot on just different stuff like that, and the trends is what's very important to me. So like when it comes to my style, I just would say it's just unique. I wouldn't even describe it right now until I actually start working with a particular brand, and I can say, all right, well, with this brand, I'm working on beauty, doing all beauty stuff. So my style just relates to just beauty.
Gotcha.
So like I like Nike and Supreme, all the streetwear brands that we grew up on. like Diamond, what's the other ones? Oh my God.
It's enough.
It's enough that all of those things in one motivate me to actually create my brand.
So what stores would you want to see the vibes in? Like
Zoomies, local stores like that. I like to keep it local because that's where I feel my community is at.
Yeah.
That's where my audience is at. I feel when I do reach that plateau to start working with a particular brand and I'm creating for that one brand, then I'll be able to embellish off of that. For example, like if I did a collab with Sheen, I can send Sheen a collab right now with stuff that I'm working on, but I would want to create a type of business plan where we're both monetizing off of it, but I'm getting my exposure because Sheen is already a brand itself.
Right.
So I would want to make sure I have a collection full of stuff. Like if I go to Snipes, and I actually spoke to Johnny Snipes personally. I met him at an event before, him and Smoke Dizza, and I told him about my brand. Actually followed me. I haven't spoke to him recently, but I would like to see my stuff in stores like Snipes, Foot Locker, Fat Joe store, Uptown.
Yeah.
I go to those type of stores and bring my business cards. That's what I'm actually going to do today, just because that's creating my exposure and my audience. And these stores need graphic designers, bro. They're working on stuff and projects for the future, so you never know when you're going to be able to connect with these people. So, and for me, like even connecting with Fat Joe, like my uncle was in his video, and I actually met him when I was young. The What's Love video, great video by the way, Joe. So just having that exposure of me and him when I was young, to bring that up and, you know, kind of bring that story back in full circle, and then to see him from where he was at that time and where he's at now, and for him to see where I was at and where I'm at now, that's just the work. So, you know, a lot of my work I feel just comes behind the scenes, but I feel most of my work I do it in the summer. But I have that foot ground where I know people are going to be outside.
Yeah.
You know, we're in that industry.
The sun is out the most.
Right. You know, we're in that industry now. Well, I would say spring and summer. But we're in that industry now where it's like you can be on here all day, but you got to step outside.
Yeah.
Because then you'll just feel trapped on here. And then when you get outside, you're even more lost.
Right.
So I try to like disconnect from this a lot. I'll get on here and I see in a post that you put up was very relevant where you start managing your time on social media. When you cut the time off, I'll spend 3 to 4 hours on here, but now I'm spending 5 to 6 hours on my laptop. Where now I have to cut that time down too. So maybe 3 to 4 hours on my laptop, 2 hours on Instagram, 6 hours outside.
You get what I'm saying, right? Because you gotta have that word. All right, so this is Fashion Gems. You got any gems you could drop and let the people know?
One, I would say stay true to yourself. Stay true to your fit. Stay true to your essence. Stay true to your culture. And when it comes to your fit, always stay drippy and stay fresh. And if you got your own brand, always wear it. You'll never not wear your brand. People walk around and say, "Oh, what you got on?" I got on DeVibes. Yeah, the jeans might be something else, but the apparel and everything else is going to be from me. So that's one thing I would say. And to the youth out there, keep working. Don't give up. Failure is definitely never an option. Never stop working, man. Stay lost, and enjoy the vibes.
All right, y'all. Yo, bro, appreciate you for coming through, shedding those gems. Y'all stay tuned for what's up next.